Today we're taking a look at this beautifully simple plastic pinhole camera. Hey everyone, Sean here, and this Film Friday, we're taking a look at this camera. This is the Lomography Diana Multi Pinhole Operator. It's called the Multi Pinhole Operator because not only is it a medium format pinhole camera, it also has an option to use 2 pinholes in a shot or 3 pinholes in a shot. You just slide this little lever down here to toggle between 1 pinhole, 2 pinholes, and 3 pinholes. Here are some double and triple pinhole photos taken with this camera. I didn't create these images, these are online. You kind of get this weird layered effect. Now, to be honest, I haven't really used this feature on this camera because the 2 pinhole and 3 pinhole effect kind of looks crappy. I use this camera to shoot pinhole landscape photography, and for that kind of photography, I don't really need the DIY Lomo look. I just want the basic pinhole. And that's what's so beautiful about this camera. It is an affordable, super lightweight plastic pinhole camera that takes beautiful images like these. Now, loading this camera is super simple. You just turn the lever on the bottom here, slide the back off. Then you're gonna put your medium format spool film in the left side of the camera, thread it into a spool on the right, and then just pull it through. And then you just use this window here to advance your film to the next shot. To take a picture, you just pull this lever down, count however many seconds of an exposure you need, and then pull it up. And because this is a pinhole camera, you are gonna be taking longer exposures, so you don't really need a shutter. You just pull it down and pull it up when you're done. Now, the pinhole in this camera is the equivalent of an f128 aperture, which means if you're shooting with ISO 100 film, in bright sunlight, your exposure is gonna be about 1 second long. So basically what that means is if you're shooting in bright sunlight, you don't wanna use higher speed film. I would recommend sticking at 100. You could probably get away with 200, but anything higher than that, you're going to have to put an ND filter on the front to cut the light so you can have a longer exposure time. You also are going to need a tripod. Hand holding this camera is going to give you really blurry shots, so lock it down on a tripod. And then for exposure readings, I use this simple pinhole light meter app. I just point it at the subject I'm going to photograph, set the aperture at f128, tell it what film speed I'm using, and then it gives me an exposure rating. Here's some of the images I've captured with this camera, and as you can see, they're beautiful. I really love the look of medium format pinhole photography. Now, I do shoot digital pinhole photography and 35mm pinhole photography, but with those smaller film planes and sensors, you do get more noise, more grain, and the images do look a little more like the classic definition of pinhole, really DIY and kind of grungy. But with the really nicely laser cut pinhole in this camera, and then adding that to the larger film plane of the medium format 120 film, I actually get an image that if you didn't know better, you might not think was shot on a pinhole camera. You might think it was shot on a lo-fi plastic lens or glass lens. Everything is definitely in focus. That's one of the hallmarks of pinhole. But if you zoom in a little bit, you realize that nothing's really that in focus. Everything's pretty soft. But because of the larger film format, I get way more resolution and I can create really beautiful images. Now, I do have a really nice zero image wooden pinhole camera, but sometimes I just like to bring this guy because it's so much more lightweight, it's plastic, and it's cheap, so I don't worry as much about damaging it. Worst case, I can just buy another one online. And I am very surprised at the quality of this camera. When I first purchased this, I assumed it would be kind of a junkier version of my wooden pinhole camera. I assumed the image just wouldn't be as nice, but I gotta say, this is a great pinhole camera. I love using this camera, and I've been consistently surprised by the quality of the images I've been able to create with it. If you have any questions about today's video or the Diana Multi Pinhole Operator camera, also comment below. I'd love to help you out. And click right here to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more videos like this one.